Welcome to Numismatic Vault, the channel where coins aren't just spare change, they're hidden treasures waiting to be found. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable Lincoln pennies. Some of these coins are worth far more than you'd ever imagine, and the best part, they could be sitting in your pocket or coin jar right now. So get ready, because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your change in a whole new way.
Top 1 today, we are going to talk about a coin that most people overlook every single day. The Jefferson nickel from 1985. At first glance, it seems ordinary, a simple 5-cent piece that you might find at the bottom of your change jar. But what if I told you that some examples of this very coin could be worth an incredible fortune? Stay tuned, because the story of the 1985 Jefferson nickel is one you will not want to miss. The Jefferson nickel has been a familiar coin in American pockets since 1938. Replacing the Buffalo nickel, it features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag, and his iconic home, Monticello, on the reverse. While millions of these nickels were struck every year, certain years carry unique characteristics that set them apart. The year 1985 might not sound special, but in the world of numismatics, it holds treasures that can surprise even experienced collectors. Let's start with the design itself. On the front, Jefferson's profile looks to the left, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1985. On the reverse, Monticello is centered with crisp architectural detail, surrounded by E pluribus unum, United States of America, and the denomination 5 cents. It's a coin that appears straightforward, but it is the hidden details, errors, and condition that separate an ordinary nickel from an extraordinary one that you see. The United States Mint struck the 1985 Jefferson nickel at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, producing hundreds of millions of coins. Because so many were minted, most ended up heavily circulated, scratched, and worn down. In this condition, their value is simply 5 cents. But for collectors, condition is everything. Coins that have been preserved in pristine, uncirculated, or even proof-like condition hold tremendous appeal. Sharp details, glowing luster, and the absence of scratches instantly raise a coin's desirability. Now let's dive into what really makes the 1985 Jefferson nickel rare and expensive: minting errors. Errors are the fascinating mistakes that happen during the production process, and they create unique coins that collectors are willing to pay huge sums to own. Some 1985 nickels are known with off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because it was not properly aligned. Others have die cracks, creating raised lines across the coin's surface. There are also dramatic examples of double die errors, where parts of the lettering or Jefferson's profile appear doubled, creating a striking and collectible look. Another type of error that excites collectors is the clipped planchet error. This happens when the blank piece of metal used for the coin was not cut properly, leaving part of the edge missing. Such coins are instantly recognizable and always attract strong interest in auctions. Each of these errors makes the 1985 Jefferson nickel not just rare, but truly one of a kind. Because no two error coins are exactly the same, that we also cannot forget about proof versions. While not released for circulation, proof nickels struck for collectors often feature sharp, mirror-like fields and frosted details. If a proof coin from 1985 is discovered in perfect condition or with an unusual error, its value skyrockets. Combine rarity, condition, and an error, and you have the perfect recipe for a coin that collectors will battle over. The Jefferson nickel series also has a strong following because of its historical importance. Thomas Jefferson, the author of the Declaration of Independence and the third President of the United States, is a symbol of liberty and American ideals. Owning a rare Jefferson nickel feels like owning a piece of that history. And when you add the possibility of major financial value, it makes the hunt for these coins all the more thrilling. So now comes the question everyone has been waiting for. How much can a 1985 Jefferson nickel be worth if it has the right rarity, error, and condition? Imagine finding one in absolutely flawless preservation, gleaming as if it just left the mint, or better yet, one with a dramatic minting error. Instead of being just 5 cents, the value of such a coin has been recorded at an unbelievable $81,000. Yes, $81,000 for a Jefferson nickel that most people would spend without a second thought. This is why collectors study every detail, examine every coin, and never underestimate the change in their pocket. That ordinary nickel could be the ticket to a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So the next time you come across a 1985 Jefferson nickel, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look, check for unusual details, and see if it might be something extraordinary. Who knows? You just might be holding a hidden treasure worth far more than its face value. Top 2. We are diving deep into the story of a coin many people see as common, but which, in special cases, can turn into something extraordinary. The Jefferson nickel from 1989. This is a coin most Americans have spent without a second thought. But for those who know what to look for, it can hold secrets worth far more than its face value. The Jefferson nickel has a proud legacy stretching back to 1938, when it replaced the beloved Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, it has stood the test of time with only slight modifications over the decades. On the obverse of the coin, we see a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of the nation's founding fathers and the third president of the United States. His image is framed by the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1989. On the reverse is Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, depicted with classical architectural precision, surrounded by E pluribus unum, United States of America, and the denomination 5 cents. Now, you might be thinking, millions of these were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, so how could any of them possibly be rare? The answer lies in condition, rarity of survival, and the fascinating world of minting errors. Ordinary nickels that have passed through countless hands over the years hold no extraordinary value. But the rare few preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition can fetch serious attention from collectors. Mint-state examples with sharp strikes, full steps visible on Monticello, and blazing luster are what truly stand out. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1989 Jefferson nickel is the existence of errors. Errors are like nature's quirks in the minting process, and they give each coin its own story. Off-center strikes are one of the most dramatic errors, where part of Jefferson's portrait or Monticello is missing due to misalignment. Another captivating error is the double die, where parts of the design appear doubled. Letters, numbers, or even Jefferson's profile can have this shadowy doubling effect that makes collectors' hearts race. There are also die cracks, raised lines caused by wear and tear on the minting dies. These create unique patterns, like veins across the coin, making every error coin one of a kind. Then there are clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin's edge is missing because the blank was improperly cut. Each of these mistakes transforms a regular nickel into something highly collectible. But errors aren't the only thing that matters. Proof coins and special strikes created for collectors in 1989 are another area where hidden value can be found. With mirror-like surfaces and frosted details, these coins already stand out. Add a rare flaw or perfect preservation, and suddenly you have a piece worth many times its face value. The Jefferson nickel series also carries historical significance. For collectors, holding a coin with Jefferson's face is more than just owning money. It's holding a small piece of America's story. The year 1989 itself sits at the end of the Cold War era, a period of change and transition, adding a subtle layer of historical context to this coin. What does all this mean for collectors? It means the hunt is on. Every 1989 Jefferson nickel you come across deserves a careful look. Examine the details, check for errors, look at the condition, and don't overlook what might appear to be an ordinary 5-cent piece. Because within this year's mintage lies the possibility of finding something extraordinary, something that could change a casual discovery into a major financial surprise. And now, the part you've been waiting for, the potential value. While most 1989 Jefferson nickels will never rise above their face value, rare examples with pristine condition or dramatic errors have been recorded at astonishing prices. The highest reported value for one of these rare finds has reached an incredible $79,000. Yes, $79,000 for a Jefferson nickel that most people would toss into a vending machine. That's the magic of coin collecting. The blend of history, artistry, and rarity that can transform pocket change into treasured SO. The next time you're sorting through your coins, don't be too quick to dismiss that old nickel from 1989. It might just be the hidden gem you've been searching for. Top 3, we're diving into a coin that many people don't pay attention to. But for serious collectors, it can mean excitement, history, and sometimes life-changing value. That coin is none other than the Jefferson nickel from the year 2002. At first, it looks just like every other 5-cent piece, but as we'll soon discover, some examples of this coin can be worth far more than you could ever imagine. The Jefferson nickel has been a part of American life since 1938, a coin that has carried the image of one of the most important figures in United States history, Thomas Jefferson, the third president and the author of the Declaration of Independence. Designed originally by Felix Schlag, the nickel's obverse features Jefferson's portrait, and the reverse proudly displays Monticello, his famous Virginia estate. By 2002, this design had already been in circulation for over 6 decades, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Now let's look at the 2002 Jefferson nickel itself. The obverse shows Jefferson's left-facing profile with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 2002. On the reverse, Monticello remains the centerpiece, with incredible details in its columns, dome, and steps. Surrounding it are the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and the denomination 5 cents. To most people, this coin is nothing special, but to the trained eye of a collector, there are features that make certain 2002 nickels incredibly valuable. One of the main reasons a 2002 Jefferson nickel can carry such value is condition. The majority of nickels struck that year were used in everyday commerce. They passed through thousands of hands, suffered scratches, dings, and lost their mint luster. But the few that were preserved in pristine, mint state condition are highly desirable. Collectors especially look for coins graded at the top levels, with brilliant luster and sharp details, especially those that show full steps on Monticello. Full steps refer to the clear, complete strike of the steps on the reverse. These are notoriously difficult to find, and when you do, the coin's value increases dramatically, but condition is only part of the story. What truly excites collectors are minting errors. Errors are the fascinating quirks that happen during the coin production process, and they transform an ordinary nickel into a rare piece of art. Some 2002 nickels have been discovered with off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the blank planchet wasn't lined up correctly. Others display double-die errors, where letters, numbers, or parts of Jefferson's profile appear doubled, giving the coin a distinctive and collectible appearance. There are also die cracks, raised lines that appear when the minting dies develop fractures. These imperfections are like unique fingerprints, making every error coin one of a kind. And then there are clipped planchets, coins where a small portion of the blank metal was cut incorrectly, leaving the coin with a missing edge. Each of these errors adds both rarity and desirability. Proof versions of the 2002 Jefferson nickel also deserve attention. Proofs are struck with specially prepared dies that give them mirror-like backgrounds and frosted designs. These were not intended for circulation, but for collectors. If a proof coin from 2002 is discovered in flawless condition or with an unusual error, its value can soar well beyond what you'd expect. The Jefferson nickel series also carries significance for collectors because of its connection to history. By 2002, the United States Mint was preparing for big changes in the design of the nickel that would come just a couple of years later when the Westward Journey series began. This means that the 2002 Jefferson nickel represents one of the last years of the traditional Schlag design before the redesigns arrived. For many collectors, that adds historical importance, making these coins even more desirable. What does all of this mean for someone who stumbles across a 2002 Jefferson nickel today? It means you should never overlook it. Take the time to study the details. Look for sharp strikes, search for possible errors, and examine the condition carefully. Because while most nickels from 2002 will remain worth just 5 cents, the rare ones, those preserved in mint condition, with full steps, or carrying striking minting errors, can command incredible prices in the collector's market. And now, for the part you've been waiting for, the potential value. The most extraordinary examples of the 2002 Jefferson nickel, especially those with dramatic errors or in pristine condition, have reached an astounding value of $77,000. Yes, $77,000 for a coin that many people would casually spend without ever thinking twice. That is the magic of coin collecting. The chance that an ordinary coin in your pocket could turn out to be an extraordinary treasure. The next time you see a 2002 Jefferson nickel, Remember this story. Don't just dismiss it as change. Give it a careful look, because you never know what you might be holding. Top 4, we're going to take a closer look at a modern coin that many people ignore, yet in special cases, it can turn into a true treasure. That coin is the Jefferson nickel from the year 2007. At first glance, it may seem like just another piece of change in your pocket, but when you explore the details, history, and hidden errors, you'll understand why collectors are constantly on the hunt for this coin. The Jefferson nickel has been a part of American coinage since 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel. For decades, the coin carried the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson by Felix Schlag, along with the familiar image of Monticello on the reverse. But by 2007, the nickel had undergone changes as part of the Westward Journey series, and Jefferson's image looked different from the traditional design. The obverse now features a forward-facing portrait of Jefferson, gazing directly at you, while the reverse continued to show Monticello, tying the modern look to the long history of this coin. The inscriptions remain familiar: "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 2007 on the obverse, with "E Pluribus Unum, United States of America," and 5 cents on the reverse. Millions of these coins were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and because of this massive circulation, most examples today are worn, scratched, and worth only their face value. But as always in numismatics, the rare exceptions are where the real magic happens. What makes the 2007 Jefferson nickel so valuable in certain cases? The first factor is condition. Coins preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition are always more desirable. Collectors especially seek examples that grade highly and display sharp details, glowing luster, and no signs of wear. A particularly important feature for Jefferson nickels is the clarity of the steps on Monticello. Known as full steps, this detail indicates a perfect strike from fresh dies, and coins with full steps are considered significantly more valuable. But what really excites coin enthusiasts are errors. Minting errors are the quirks and mistakes that transform a normal coin into a rare collectible. With the 2007 Jefferson nickel, errors such as off-center strikes are especially dramatic, showing Jefferson's face or Monticello shifted to one side with blank space on the coin. Double die errors are another prized discovery, where letters, numbers, or features of the portrait appear doubled, creating a striking look that is unmistakable. Die cracks are also fascinating. These appear as raised lines across the coin, caused by fractures in the dies used to strike them. Each die crack error is unique, which means no two coins with this error are ever exactly alike. Another valuable error is the clipped planchet, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing because the blank piece of metal was cut incorrectly. Collectors are drawn to these rare flaws because they represent mistakes that were never meant to leave the mint. That we should also mention proof coins. Proof Jefferson nickels from 2007 were struck with special dies to create sharp, mirror-like surfaces and frosted details. These coins were sold directly to collectors, not released into circulation. If you come across a proof coin from 2007 in perfect condition, or even better, a proof coin with a unique error, you might be looking at something truly extraordinary. The historical context of the 2007 Jefferson nickel also adds to its appeal. This was part of the redesigned series that gave Jefferson a more modern and lifelike appearance, bridging the old traditional designs with a new vision for American coinage. Collectors often value coins that mark transition periods, because they symbolize change and capture a moment in history. What does this all mean for you, the collector? It means that every 2007 Jefferson nickel deserves a closer inspection. Don't just see it as another 5-cent piece. Look at the details carefully. Check the condition, search for doubling on the letters or Jefferson's portrait, examine Monticello for full steps, and keep an eye out for dramatic errors. You never know when you might stumble upon a coin that transforms from ordinary change into a collector's dream. Now for the moment you've been waiting for, the potential value of the 2007 Jefferson nickel. While the majority will always remain worth just 5 cents, the rarest examples, those with full steps, pristine uncirculated condition, or striking minting errors, have been known to sell for as much as $75,000. Yes, $75,000 for a nickel most people wouldn't even glance at twice. That's the incredible power of coin collecting. History, artistry, and rarity coming together to turn something ordinary into something extraordinary. So, the next time you find a 2007 Jefferson nickel, don't ignore it. Study it carefully, because you might be holding a treasure in your hand. Top 5. We're diving into a modern coin that most people dismiss as ordinary pocket change. Yet under the right circumstances, this coin can turn into something astonishing. That coin is the Jefferson nickel from the year 2016. At first glance, it's just a simple 5-cent piece, but when you explore its design, history, rarity, and hidden errors, you'll see why collectors keep a sharp eye out for it. The Jefferson nickel has been an essential part of American currency since 1938. It replaced the Buffalo nickel and has remained a favorite for collectors ever since. The original design by Felix Schlag was used for decades, but in 2006, the mint introduced an updated image of Jefferson. By 2016, this modern version of the nickel was in full swing. On the obverse, Jefferson faces forward with a realistic and detailed portrait, making direct eye contact with the holder. Alongside are the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2016. On the reverse, we still find Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate, depicted in sharp architectural lines, surrounded by E pluribus unum, United States of America, and 5 cents. Millions of these coins were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, meaning that most of them are very common. But in the world of coin collecting, quantity is not the full story. What matters most is quality and rarity. For the Jefferson nickel of 2016, the rarest examples are those found in flawless condition. Coins that were never circulated, kept in pristine state, or graded at the highest levels can be worth far more than face value. Collectors especially look for coins with full steps. On Monticello, those fine details on the steps that indicate a strong strike. Coins with full steps are not easy to find, and when discovered, they carry a significant premium. But beyond condition, what really sets some 2016 nickels apart are minting errors. These errors, created accidentally during production, make each coin unique and highly collectible. One type is the off-center strike, where the design is visibly misaligned, leaving part of the coin blank. Another dramatic error is the double die, where inscriptions or features of Jefferson's face appear doubled. This kind of mistake is instantly recognizable and always draws attention from collectors. Other fascinating errors include die cracks, which look like raised lines on the surface of the coin caused by damage to the minting dies. Then there are clipped planchets, where a section of the coin's edge is missing because of an improperly cut blank. Each error creates a one-of-a-kind coin that stands apart from the millions of standard nickels in circulation. Proof coins from 2016 also play an important role. These coins were struck with specially prepared dies to produce sharp details and mirror-like surfaces, intended for collectors rather than circulation. A proof coin in perfect condition, or even better, one with a rare error, can command impressive value in the market. Another reason the 2016 Jefferson nickel is interesting is its place in history. By this time, the mint had already introduced changes to other denominations, and modern collectors began paying closer attention to even the smallest details. Coins from this period symbolize the ongoing story of American coinage, blending tradition with modern design. For collectors, the 2016 nickel represents both continuity and change. So what does this mean for you, the collector or the curious treasure hunter? It means that the 2016 Jefferson nickel deserves far more attention than it usually gets. Most people spend it without a thought, but if you take a closer look, you might spot details that reveal hidden value. Whether it's full steps on Monticello, a dramatic minting error, or flawless proof quality, the right coin could be worth far more than 5 cents. And now, the part you've been waiting for, the potential value of the 2016 Jefferson nickel. While the vast majority of these coins will remain worth only their face value, the rarest and most exceptional examples have sold for an incredible $73,000. Yes, $73,000 for a nickel that most people would casually drop into a vending machine. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, combining history, artistry, and rarity into one powerful discovery. So, the next time you see a Jefferson nickel from 2016, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look, because you never know when you might be holding a true treasure in your hands. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another discovery. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.